Up next, we have Kathy Garber, Mr. Top Step and of structural trading. Kathy spent several years as a senior analyst for the trading book. Kathy started her own company, which is Structural Trading, which offers education, pre-market analysis videos, and charts focusing on harmonic pattern training. Kathy is a lead trader in the Mr. Top Step I Am Pro trading room. She shares trading ideas and breaking market news as she trades live with other professional traders and new traders eager to experience the power of collective intelligence. Kathy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Kevin. Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy, and thank you for being here. Gosh, I've listened to everybody talk, and it's really been an awesome day. Okay, let's just get started. I've already said who I am. The disclaimer of knowing the risk of trading and that I am only giving educational information here. All right, cycles and Fibonacci sequence. Just as though, there are cycles in everything, and Fibonacci is just the same. It occurs in everything around and within us, and that's kind of what Ala was just saying as well. Harmonics and Fibonacci ratios offer probable cyclical rotations and measured movements. All right. If you're already familiar with Fibonacci ratios, just bear with me for just a minute, please. Fibs and extensions are like bus stops for traders, and how long price stops at a fib or a bus stop is determined by how many traders get on and off the bus. Now, this in essence is an understanding of price action to be able to recognize that, right? So Fibonacci levels are the basic framework that I use for harmonic patterns, and harmonics offer the roadmap of where the bus has a high probability of stopping, continuing through, or turning around. If you've been trading for a while, you know that there are no 100% guarantees. All we have is probabilities. All right, I'm always asked, so I'm just putting this on here. My default Fibonacci ratios that I use for harmonic purposes are these. These are my default Fibonacci extensions for ABCDs. And ABCDs of harmonic patterns. Okay, the ABCD pattern, I guess in Elliott wave terms, it would be very similar to the ABC pattern, okay? But it is the most basic of the harmonic pattern family, and it's included inside most of the other harmonic patterns. It's a symmetrical measured move in price, and it looks like a lightning bolt, so it's real easy to recognize. All right, it also offers a trade setup using Fibonacci retracements as entries and Fib extensions as projected targets and exits or reversal targets. Here's the pattern summary for ABCD. I'm going through these very fast, but my understanding it's being recorded, so you can go back and look at these later, but I wanted to get to the charts, and this is all very basic. So the pattern summary is there are 3 legs, and the initial leg is an impulsive move that forms the first one, which is called AB leg. The AB leg then retraces to form the next leg, and the final CD leg, it seeds the B point, whether it's going higher or lower depending on which direction the ABCD pattern is in, and that completes the pattern. This is what an ABCD bearish pattern looks like. And it's called bearish, but it's not bearish until it completes. So it's going to have a bullish move. The A to B leg is an impulsive move to the upside. A retracement forms the BC leg, and then the final leg is the CD leg. Now there are, and this is basically what I use, just the AB equals CD with extensions. But if you wanted to get to find confluence, then you can add what we call the BC what am I trying to say? The BC extensions. So what you would do is draw a fib from B to C and see if it correlates with the ideal targets to the upside. Okay, here's a live chart. This is ES. This is a daily chart for the E-mini futures. And you know, usually when you're in a trending type situation that ES has been in, it's very difficult to find harmonic patterns that I prefer. I mean, ABCDs are awesome and they're in everything, but I like the other ones better. And so anyway, all we've mostly had in this uptrend on a bigger perspective are ABCDs. So as you can see on the first one, this was back in June, I guess, the A, B, retrace to make C, and the target at the 100% is where I put the D, the brown D. Now, here's the thing. AB equals CD will have exact symmetry. And as you can see, we had the push initial move. And this is what I did. I copied that initial move and pasted it at the bottom of C. And there you can see that it recognized the AB equals CD. It did not reverse. It was more of a target along the way. Now, I showed you my default fib extensions for ABCDs, and it's just the 100, 1.272, and the 1.618. So as you can see, we got the bigger pullback at the 1.618, okay? In the meantime, another ABCD formed, the cyan colored one, and this is what I used when it exceeded the AB equals CD on the brown one and pulled back to test it as support. It started a new one, okay? And as you can see, it also ended up going to the 1.618 on the cyan color. We did get a nice pullback at the AB equals CD, but it continued to go to the upside. Now let me tell you something about harmonic patterns. Really strong ones like to retrace 100% or more. Failure to do that gives us a continuation bias. Okay, and here we are at a very interesting juncture because the purple ABCD is at the 1.272. Remember, the previous two ABCDs that we've looked at have hit the 1.618, right? But I want you to look back at the B points. I'm sorry, look back at the previous highs, the B's and D's, okay? This first D, it stalled. The second B was an initial, it was a U-turn, okay? The next DB that correlate with two different ABCDs was a U-turn. And now we're at an interesting juncture because this is not a swift U-turn, right? This is a bus stop that many buyers and sellers or many traders are getting on and off the bus, right? So we're at an indecisive moment. There's no way that we can absolutely know with 100% guarantee which direction this is going to go, right? If it continues with the symmetry, the anticipation is that the 1.618 or the 1860 is going to be tested. If it cannot get above this current bus stop of 1807.50, the implication is it's either going to stay in the sideways range until it breaks below the previous initial target of 1766.25. So right now we're at a decisive mode. My little dots, I don't know if you can see them very well, but they're just an indicator that a very precious friend of mine in Poland made for me, and it basically measures ATR and Fibonacci's confluence. So it's indicating that the bias is currently to the downside. Now, I tend to be a more conservative trader, so for me, I would prefer to have price hold below this important support test, right? Okay. And the ABCD bullish is just the same, only opposite. In other words, it has impulsive move to the downside, retracement, and continuation. So it's exactly the same. And here's a live chart. This is a Winco tick chart for CL. And as you can see, I mean, ABCDs are everywhere. It's really awesome. Okay, the blue ABCDs, you can see the blue letters, and those that know me know that I color coordinate everything. I color coordinate the letters with the fibs, with any kind of comments, okay? So the blue lines are the blue ABCD, and as you can see, this was an AB equals CD and reversed, right? And that's probably, what, like a 50% retracement, which is still shallow, right? Because remember, really strong patterns like to retrace 100% or more. So, yes, bearish, I thought it was a bullish pattern. I'm not quite sure when you said that, but right now I'm showing an ABCD bullish pattern, and it's not bullish until it completes. In other words, the blue pattern, impulsive move to the downside, bounce into resistance, and completes. Then, at this completion, it becomes bullish, right? Failure to have a nice retracement keeps the downside continuation bias. So what this did, the first AB equals CD, it formed a whole new AB leg for a larger ABCD formation. So the green A to the green B had a bounce, right, when it retraced the blue one. And then the 100%, I want you to see that when they correlate with another ABCD or another fib, and some, some fibs have more oomph than others, but anyway, at this particular instance, the green AB equals CD and the blue 1.618 have correlation here, and this is where price has been stalling. It did breach it to test the nearby green extension target, right? And this is what happens often in any kind of harmonic pattern. Price will reach what I call a PRZ, or potential reversal zone. It's also known as the completion target, to test nearby levels, and then it finds some kind of reversal. Okay, so this is where we're at in CL, and so we're at an interesting juncture, right? Are we forming a new ABCD? Absolutely. It's an emerging one, right? We don't have to wait until it gets all the way to the bottom and then try to trade the reversal. This is an interesting juncture because if it takes out this current low, then the implication is it's a new ABCD, and oh, I was going to do that as a chart, trying to squish it down, but you could draw another fib extension from this green C to the green D and project it from this new high and have a new target and see if there's any correlation with the green one, right? I think it'd be further down than that. Anyway, you get the gist. This is just the basics. And you can recognize these in anything, any time frame, any instrument. All right, these are the BC reciprocals I was talking about, that when the AB retracement for the C point is 38.2%, and you draw that fib from B to C, if you see any of these fibs between 2.24 and 2.618, correlating with an 88.6 or a 1.618, then that gives it more of a magnet or higher probability of a reversal point, okay? All right. This is just the basics of harmonic patterns. Now, ABCD has 3 legs. Most harmonic patterns have 4 legs and 5 points. And the last 3 legs are going to be the ABCD. Okay, it's as simple as that. And the first leg is just called XA. So here are the common here are the common harmonic patterns. Okay, so if I see somebody saying, no, there are no dumb statements. Sorry if I sound dumb, but can never see clearly where a pattern starts. Okay, I'll go over that on a blank chart, okay? And then it'll be real easy to see. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so this is just for you to have. Some people like it visually. I'm more of a visual. I have dear people that I care a lot about, that this makes more sense to them. So however much the initial move retraces automatically gives us a target. It's really cool to know what the names are, but it really doesn't matter as long as you know the fibs, okay? Or bus stops. Okay, here's SPY. Now, this is a 20-tick ST Winco chart. This is really cool because it has a Gartley, a butterfly, and a crab in it, right? And this is this started back in the first part of December, like December 4th, okay? So what I like to do when I have an impulsive move or in this case, to the downside, all right, and then it retraces, I have a triangle, and that's my XAB. Now, I am going to, because it retraced 78.6%, I automatically know my targets. If it gets back above this point of the triangle, I'm talking about the blue one, is going to have the 1.272 and the 1.618 targets for completions of this particular harmonic pattern, okay? Now here's the cool thing that I just love about harmonics. Smaller patterns will get their way in there to help the larger patterns play out. And in this case, I mean, this is from a real chart. I did not make this up. So in the next impulsive move to the upside and a retracement, it retraced 61.8%, the green dash line, and then it bounced, right? And it did not take out the upper part of the green triangle. So this tells me this is an ABCD going on or a Gartley. I know that because it's a 61.8% retracement of the XA leg. Now I did not write in XABCD for the green pattern because I wanted this to be very simple for the eyes if you just look at it that way. A Gartley is when you have an impulsive move to the upside, it retraces 61.8%, goes at least 38.2% in the opposite direction, and then completes at the 78.6% retracement of XA. So, and this is an exact, perfect example of a Gartley, right? Now, so at this juncture, as soon as I had the first blue triangle, I knew that A point is a very important support test. If it can't get there, it increases the probability of completing my upside targets. So let's go to what happened after this. I mean, that is like magic, isn't it? Okay, so the Gartley, the green Gartley, started going into retracement mode. That offers a long opportunity. My wrinkle bars, I have a strategy for that. Once the price starts having green bars, it offers a conservative long opportunity, okay? So this would have given a long opportunity, and my targets are automatically going to be, well, I say first and second target, but that was what was on the other one, remember? But if entering here, my target is going to be this point of the triangle, the first blue triangle, right? Those are my 3 points of interest. The first point, the second point, and the third point. And as long as price is holding above the bottom point of the triangle, I'm looking for that middle point. So as you can see, price went to the first point, the middle point of the triangle. It went to the first point of the triangle and completed my butterfly at the 1.272. But look at the retracement. It was like, if you can't get a nice retracement, and ideal minimum retracement is 38.2% from A to D. Okay, I know that is nowhere near 38.2%. And plus I still have green bars that's saying the upside bias continues. It increases the probability of completing the extended target. Well, it didn't quite get there, but for me, that is saying I'm not the only one looking for this target, and there's people that are front running it, right? So once price, and I have dots, once that turns to a red dot, that implies I'm stalking a short for a reversal. And once it turns red bars, I'm a short and go into retracement mode. And that, my friends, is a very strong reversal pattern. It did retrace over 100%, right? Um, All right, let me just stop here for a second. What does spy, Gartley, butterfly, and crab have to do with being a great trader today? Well, Lou, that's a very good question. For me, let me just say this really quick. For me, when I first learned trading, and I spent a fortune on my education, and a lot of that education was from hard knocks, from trading before I had any kind of method, any kind of mentor, and I really didn't know what the heck I was doing. And so it was a very costly educational cost, right? And we're all going to invest in our education one way or another. It wasn't until I figured out if I find a mentor or a method that makes sense to me, then that will increase my probability of being more of a mechanical trader rather than an emotional trader and be more profitable. So harmonics, what it did for me is give me an understanding of price action. So it also gave me the ability to stay into a trade longer to my targets, and it also told me where my risk needed to be. In other words, if you're looking at this chart and after the C point is complete, the little green Gartley is completed and it starts going into reversal, and I see the green bars, whatever gets me into the trade should get me out of the trade. So if I go long because I have green bars and I'm thinking this Gartley is going into retracement mode and I need the next, I'm looking for the final leg of the bigger harmonic. So that gives me a higher probability of where I am going to, that I'm going to be correct in my analysis. My risk would be under the green fib, right? I already know that if it's going to go back down there, it's probably going to keep chopping around. More than likely, it will go back to red bars. So I already have a defined risk. I have defined targets, and it makes it so much more mechanical. How long have I been using harmonics to trade? A couple of years, Deborah, and okay. Let's move on, and then I'll answer more questions at the end. So that's basically why harmonics works for me. It's not for everybody, and you know, that's why trading is so personal. We all have different risk parameters, we have different account sizes, we have different emotional issues, right? I'm very conservative because I lost a lot of money when I first learned to trade, and that was very scary. It was very scary because I worked hard for my money, and then to lose so much of it in such a quick frame of time, what it did looking back is it was a very good education. It just cost a lot of money to do that, dadgummit. But it did teach me to be more conservative and long for that mechanical way of trading. Okay, because I wanted to show the ABCDs in this, let me just go over it real quick. Remember the first blue triangle, the ABCD? This is where you see the correlation. I drew the ABCD extensions. Here it is, the blue lines. And as you can see, the 1.272 extension correlated with the first target. The extended 1.618 ABCD target correlated with my D point. That gives it higher confluence. It gives me more confidence in seeking that because it's like a magnet, and it also, up here at the top, it offers, that definitely says to me, tighten your position, exit your position, or protect profits, period. And once those red bars start coming in, I would have been out of the trade. Okay, somebody's saying, am I profitable with harmonics now? Yes. I do it every day in the room. One thing I found, this is a question, one thing I found this challenging is that it explains the after effect but don't bring out the projection. Okay, I beg to differ, because back when I first gave the first chart, this one, all I needed was this first impulsive move to the downside and retracement, and I'm already in my mind thinking once this leg to the downside is complete, I'm looking for a long, and these are my targets up here. So I have projections already once I get this first triangle. Now here's the thing, you have to be patient with the setups, right? I'm not going to go long here at this point of the triangle because for me, harmonically speaking, I know it needs to pull back. Okay, and this little Gartley helped that. Could have traded that also. All right. So anyway, on this chart, I just wanted to show that the ABCDs do correlate with the harmonic patterns and that they are a vital component in it. Okay, this is a Winco bar tick chart that my friend Anna from Poland made for me. The Winco bar did. She did. And it's used on any time frame, any instrument. It doesn't matter if it's a ring. Sorry, I have a delivery. Hold on. Sorry, I have babies that love the doorbell. Okay, I forgot where I was. How do you just, what is the percentage of the success? It depends. Overall, for the year, and I mean, it's higher probabilities successful than it's better than a coin flip. Let me put it that way. On intraday trading, my methodology that I use for day trading, and I did not do the statistics, somebody else in the room did it for me. They said it's over 80% profitable. Anyway, yes, you can use it on any time frame. This is not part of Elliott Wave. It is totally different. However, it complements Elliott Wave. Okay. How many zigzags in the Gartley? Well, the Gartley has 4 legs, 5 points. Winco from Poland, yes, Anna's from Poland. She created it for this particular version for me. There's a generic version of Winco bars in NinjaTrader and other platforms. Eleanor, in your opinion, Anna has developed the best Winco chart I've ever seen. Oh, thank you. Yes, it is available to my subscribers. Okay, let's move on. Now, here's the question that somebody that does not understand price action would have to say, how do you know when to get into the trade? Because on this particular chart, this is an Apple daily chart, and this is 2 different harmonic patterns that merge in one zone, which is called a PRZ, okay? And it's between 554.85 and 549.02. Now, in this case, and remember I said earlier, oftentimes price will breach through a PRZ or a completion target to tag nearby levels, and then we see what happens. And this is what's going on in Apple. It breached the ideal PRZ to test the nearby fib, and I bet you if I did a BC extension and added something on these blue fibs, it would be pretty much in there as well. Anyway, so here's what I look for. I am not going to be, because this is a bearish completion pattern, 2 of them together, I'm conservative. There is no way I am jumping into this short unless I see it holding below the bottom of the zone, right? That's just me. There's some that will, because there was a small triangle that it's broken down, some more aggressive traders may enter it. Now, this is just what I'm looking at on a daily perspective. For me to enter to a trade, I'm not going to go off this daily chart. I'm going to go to a smaller time frame, which is an hourly. So here, this red zone is the same zone that is on the daily chart, right? Between 554.85 and 549.02. Remember, I said I'm waiting for it to hold below there. Okay, and as you can see, it's still kind of breaching below it, right? Well, guess what? There's another harmonic pattern. It's another Gartley. So this Gartley is not going into retracement mode, right? If it were, then it would be holding above this ABCD. Well, I call it a cyan color, right? It's not holding above it. So this is implying that the extended target is in play. Now, here's the cool thing. If this, and I call it a garfly, and no, Scott Carney did not make it. Is it a valid pattern? Well, it is for me, you know, and that's all that matters in my trading world. You do not have to acknowledge it as a valid harmonic pattern, but let me tell you something. I have seen it over and over and over again, and I draw harmonic patterns thousands of times. Thousands, I mean hundreds of thousands, I mean I can't even begin to imagine how many harmonic patterns I draw manually, but I have seen that what if a Gartley fails to be a reversal point, it is merely a target to the 1.272, and that is the target for a butterfly. So I call it a garfly. So I have two extended targets if price can hold below this zone. Remember, this zone is a daily zone. So on an hourly chart now, as long as I see it holding below this 554.85, I can go into a short opportunity to my targets to the downside. Now here's the cool thing. If this brown pattern completes these extended targets, that is going to put price below the daily PRZ and go into a much bigger retracement, right? And 51374 is going to be the next target to the downside of harmonic importance. Okay. And that's it for my presentation. So I do have, now I can answer questions better. And here's the thing. We in the Mr. Top Step room, we just started December's boot camp. Now what this is it gives a week of seeing how we do it. And there's other traders in there along with me. I'm one of the main ones. There's also Frank Control, Mr. Pit Boss, and Jack Bros, and Danny Riley. And so anyway, it's an awesome place to go and check out what we do. And it's happening this week now. All right, so let me go to these questions. What instruments do I trade? Good question, Steve. I trade mainly ES. I do trade some options. And so I trade typically ETFs in that. And those are more longer term positions. But for intraday, I mainly trade ES. I also will trade NQ and 6E. A major pattern taught at Optionetics in their options training. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean. Please explain the meaning of crab. All right, let's go to a live chart. Well, I know it's all right, let's do this. Let's just clear a chart. What would you like to look at? Let's see. Well, yes, okay. Let's just, ES doesn't really have any harmonic patterns right now, but it's forming. It's forming one. I mean, other than ABCDs. Okay. A crab. Well, we may be forming a crab here. Let me just get this really big. All right, and this is a good example of where to start. Okay, here's a good rule of thumb. When you're drawing a fib, go from a distinct low to high or high to low. So this is the most recent distinct low, right? So I'm going to go from that low to this high. A requisite for harmonics is it needs to at least go to 38.2%. So this little bounce here, can y'all see my little pointer, first of all? Okay, great. So this little bounce here is not anywhere near this 38.2%. So for a emerging harmonic, what I'm going to do, and this is just a good rule of thumb, you want to see at least at 38.2%. All right, and here we have it. So I'm going to draw my triangle, right, for the first 3 points, and this could turn into a crab. So the requisite for a crab and it's listed on that sheet, right? Requisite for a crab is it needs to be from the impulsive move up to the retracement, it needs to be 61.8% or less. Okay, and that falls into the criteria. It's in between the 38.2 and the 61.8%, which I call the golden ratio zone. So my targets, because I know harmonics, I already have, okay, whoever said this earlier, that there's no projections, my projection is going to be the 88.6%, and then it's going to be the 1.618. So there's going to be the crab, and let's put this. All right, here's a good rule of thumb as well. Once you have your initial triangle, draw significant levels. Those are important levels, and where price is in between those points of the triangle means something. So right now, this point of the triangle is being tested, and it's breaching below it. So as long as it holds below this point, that offers a short opportunity to me to go to the 88.6, and let me change this color to correlate with the triangle, and then remove the fibs that don't matter so it'd be easier for you to see. Okay, ta-da! So this is going to be my bullish bat target, which is going to be the initial target for that XA retracement. And then the crab. So what the crab is it's an extended target that correlates with, like I said, the initial retracement is less than 61 or 61.8% or less, and the completion point is the 1.618 extension of the impulsive move. Okay? Now, I'm not a statistics type person. I don't say, well, this happens this often and blah, blah, blah. But other people have done statistics, and the crab has a high probability, if it completes, of reversing, but the probability of completing is not as high as something like, is not as high probability as something like the butterfly or Gartley or something like that. What is Ninja Trader? It's a trading platform, and there are no dumb questions. We traders like to know entry and exit points. I think you should add that at your okay. This is a daily chart. If I was trading this long term or intraday, I would be looking for intraday patterns that will help break down these levels on the daily chart, right? And so we have two closing candles, daily candles closing below this point of the triangle. Let me get rid of this golden ratios. Okay, closing below this point of the triangle. So I'm stalking a short, right? Entry here, my risk, and you know, it depends. Everybody trades differently, but let's take this down to say an hourly chart, right? Okay, we have the same situation. Oh, we're in a choppy mess, right? Okay, so price is in a triangular type consolidation. So what this tells me is, and because I am conservative, I would wait for this triangle to be broke and held. When I say broken held, I mean, all right, I'm looking at an hourly chart now. I would want to see an hourly candle close below here for a short, and then ideally go to an even smaller time frame and watch price testing it as resistance, and then boom, I am in there short. Okay, still conservative but not as conservative is a test of the top of the triangle or this fib. Okay, depending on how much you want to risk. If I were to enter here, say it opens here tomorrow, I could enter short, my risk above this fib or above the triangle. Your choice. How much do you want to risk? Me, I'm a little more conservative. I'd have it most likely above this fib because that is a very significant level for me. If I were to wait and enter once it closes and test the bottom of the triangle as resistance, then if that gets me into the trade, if it goes back inside the triangle, that's what's going to get me out of the trade. So I have minimal risk. Okay, my targets, I already have them on the bigger term, but God, this is such a mess. But you could do ABCDs, right? So we have this point here. If I want quick targets, 1757, 50, 1752, 50, and 1745, 75, which is going to help. This little ABCD is going to help price get to the BAT target of 1742.75. Can you use intraday chart like 5 minutes or 15 minutes? Well, absolutely. And I use very small time frames for intraday trading. These are not, for me, a daily and hourly chart are going to be more for swing type trading. And I don't swing trade ES, but on SPY or something like that, I would. I'm happy to answer your questions. Where do I think crude oil is heading? What time frame, Jerry? Well, what moving averages do I have on my charts? They're very simple. They're 20 and 50. The reason why I use a 20 SMA is because it's the same as a Bollinger Band midline. Now, I know there are some people that do not like indicators. And here's the thing. I'm an educator. And a lot of the students that I have are people that have lost a lot of money and they're like, help me. And they don't understand price action. And some indicators can help people understand price action better. For me, okay, just looking at these moving averages, this is a bearish cross where a faster moving average crosses below a slower one. Now, I don't trade the cross, but I will trade the tests of the cross. So this is saying this is bullish in nature. Now, if price breaks out of this triangle and comes up and tests this falling 50, I'm going to be stalking a short, right? Because it's going to be a validation of that bearish cross. But if that's what gets me into the trade, if it goes back above there, that's what's going to get me out of the trade. You see? I thought the green downward MA will be a resistance on the upside. Well, the green fib, are you talking about this one, Veronica? This particular chart? Yes, it would be, and it correlates with the top of this triangle. Yes, the red is 200 SMA. The green is the 20 SMA, which is the same as the Bollinger Band. And I love Bollinger Bands, and I use them on a very small time frame for fine-tuning entries. So this tells me that the bias is to the downside, but we're toying with where we're going to be on this point of the triangle. My overall bias is, as long as it holds below 1770, I'm going to be stalking a short on 1 hour and 4 hour and CL. So you make about one trade every 2 weeks? No, Jack. I make a trade every day. Intraday. I trade ES every day. And the way I trade it has a high probability of 80% of a profitable trade. All right, let's look at the CL. Longer term trades, yes, you would be waiting longer, of course. Absolutely. CL. Okay, I have analysis on my charts. Let's get rid of that and look at it with fresh eyes so you can see how I process it. Okay, Jack, I'm not here to tell you what I'm trading. I'm not trading anything today. I am offering trading opportunities, trading setups. You know, if this doesn't make sense to you, then that's fine. It's not going to hurt my feelings because it's personal. But if you do find some kind of interest in it, then there are many ways that you can make profitable trades in harmonics. I mean, it really is. No, don't say that. Everybody, you know, has to find what works for them. Thank you, Nazar. How do you calculate your profitability? Well, in NinjaTrader, they offer that to do it automatically, and then I have people in my room that do it for me. So, like I said, I'm not a statistic type person. I just know that I make more profitable trades than losing trades. The retest of the bearish cross is going to be those moving averages. If those moving averages are what's like here, this is a different chart. This is an hourly CL. This happens to have a bullish cross. Okay, and this is a great example. Let me make it bigger. Okay, this bullish cross currently is being invalidated, right? Because when price came back at this juncture here, it's validated. It had one more oomph up, retested it, failed. Once it closes below the 20, which is my green one, then I look for the 50 to hold. If the 50 can't hold, this is invalidating this bullish cross. It doesn't mean that it won't go back and redo another bullish cross, but this particular bullish cross failed. This type of price action, testing these moving averages, would not tell what it would tell me is this is not validating the bullish cross. I'm not stalking along. I'm waiting to see what happens. Okay? All right, so harmonically speaking, on the bigger scope of things, let's do the 4-hour first. Okay, here's somebody had said, how do you find the points? I look for extremes. I want to use the highest high and the lowest low with at least a 38.2% retracement. So that's what I'm going to shoot for first. I'm going to go from the highest high to the lowest low. It's not there yet. So right now, this pullback is not offering me a harmonic rotation, so I'm going to go to the next next high. There, it's at the 38.2%. So that's going to be my X point, right? So what this tells me, because it's a 38.2% retracement, is it's either going to be a bat or an ABCD. And the determining factor, the line in the sand, and now I like to recognize the golden ratio zone, so I'm going to keep that there. So what that tells me is if price holds above 98.24, I'm going to be looking for the 88.6% target. This is my ideal situation for this harmonic pattern to play out. Okay? Now, I have 3 significant levels, the 3 points of the triangle. And the line in the sand between an ABCD and this current emerging bat is going to be this low. So I'm the type of person that likes to be prepared for no matter which direction the market happens to go, right? So I have a significant level. This is 4-hour. We have a bullish cross, and it's really like trying to decide. The hourly is already saying invalidated. So this is my ABCD target to the downside. I'll go ahead and draw that trend line just so you see in the same color as my ABCD fib. And here's what I'm going to do. Copy and paste it from this high. And as you can see, it matches, right? That's my AB equals CD target. So this is the line in the sand. Here, I'll just type it here. And as long on this pullback, as long as price holds above here, my bias and my target is going to be 106.77. If price comes down here and takes out 91.77, it's going to invalidate the blue pattern and focus on completing the ABCD. That's the 4-hour scenario, right? Forget trading ideas right now. You would probably make more money teaching how to use Ninja Trader. That's cute. Okay, here's the 4-hour stuff on the 1-hour stuff. Now, let's hone in on just this most recent move, right? So we have this impulsive move to the upside and a retracement. So we're trying to form a new harmonic pattern, right? So I'm going to draw a fib from the low to the high, and it's not at the 38.2% yet. Now here's the thing. Each leg of a harmonic pattern needs to be at least 38.2%. So this becomes a very important golden ratio zone, right? If I want to get a harmonic pattern, I cannot use this low right yet. I'm seeking this because it's absolutely necessary. It's a requirement, harmonically speaking, that price come here. So this is like a magnet to form this leg of the bigger 4-hour pattern, right? Now, this smaller pattern, I'm going to have to use a different low, right? Because I have to have at least 38.2%. So let's change this color, and it's 61.8%. So well, let's just see if we have any correlation. It's a 61.8%, so I know the 78.6% is the first target, and then my 1.272 and 1.618. Now they're recognizing, if you question your fibs, if they're recognized, then most likely it's a good, well-drawn fib. Okay, so we have this new harmonic pattern that's emerging. It invalidated the Gartley, which was the first target at 78.6%. Here was the first target for the Gartley. Well, it gapped down below there. So the next target is going to be the 1.272. Now, here's the cool thing. What's going to happen is if this Garfly, remember I call it a Garfly, completes, it's going to help price test this golden ratio zone. So it's also invalidating this bullish cross here. So my bias right now would be, as long as it holds below 97, what is this, 96.80, I'm stalking a short. It is in consolidation mode, so conservative approach would be a hold below this trend line or below 96.30. I have a downside scion dot. That tells me this move to the downside is still forming. But if price holds back above 96.80, then I would anticipate a gap fill attempt. Okay? What triggers my paintballs? It's ATR, basically based off of fib rotation. I did not, Anna created it for me. I'm not a coder. I just use it like electricity. I don't know how to make the lines work in a house, but I will certainly use it. And I can attest that I make money with you. Thank you, Ann. Yes, she does. What are the moving averages you are using on the 6th? They're all the same, Deborah. The moving averages are the same on all my charts. 20 SMA, 50 EMA, and 200 SMA. What is point ABC? In what? KG, can you... oh, in just ABCD, like this would be an ABCD too. Let me just get rid of everything. Okay, remember, we have this pattern that's forming that has a target down here, right? Now, we are going to have an ABCD. The top is going to be the A, and that's what I went over earlier, right? So you can go back and look at it. This is going to be A, B, and then we have a bounce up for the next leg. And as long as it doesn't go above the previous high, it's a valid, remember, it's going to look like a lightning bolt. And so we've already gone past the ABCD, so we're looking for the A, B, C, D extension. So right now it's testing the 1.272. Okay, and I'm almost out of time. So let me see if I can hurry up and answer. Is there a time requirement for each pattern to complete? I don't consider it so, but thank you, Veronica. One of the smartest people I've met ever. Are you referring to me, Donald? Or somebody else, somebody I learned from? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Must the price in the golden zone stop to be the close or the wick? Okay, Dan, I'm thinking you're asking if I have a golden ratio zone and my stop is in it, is it to be on the wick or a, okay, I'm not quite sure I understood that. Let's do this. Okay, remove everything. Let's just draw a fib. Let's draw a fib from this high to this low, even though it's still forming. Okay, this is the golden ratio zone here. Let's say I'm stalking a short, it comes up and tests this. I am a very profitable day trader. Friday plus 12,000. How do I make money with this? Rick, I think I've gone over that. But if you're a profitable trader, maybe you don't need anything else, you know? But it can help you make money by staying in the profit in a trade longer to completion of a target. A crab has a very long way to complete. That's a very long target, right? Thank you, Kathy. I've assisted many webinars, and it's the first time I had the chance to see harmonics. I heard about it, but you're the first one to teach it. Well, thank you, Fabiana. Thank you, Andy. What sources do you recommend to study harmonics? Galena, that would be me, but if it wasn't me, I would suggest Scott Carney, Ross Beck, R.M. Gartley. Do you have an instruction that you can show us how to draw triangular patterns? It's just basically the low to the high and the retracement. You know, if I didn't have a triangle toolbar, or drawing tool rather, I would strictly just use trend lines, and you go from the low to the high, the retracement, like here, say we're going to get a bounce, at least 38.2%, and connect it. There's the triangle, okay? Do I do stocks? I only do personally trade stocks and options, but yes, I do analyze stocks. I love to hear dadgummit. That is Southern, and so am I. Very good job. Feel challenged by your teaching and will follow through. Thank you, John. Kathy is really a great trader, and I learned a lot by seeing that in the room. Thank you very much, Kathy. Thank you, Jasmine. Are you showing the STP indicator today? That's what my dots are. Those are the STP indicator. Veronica, can you tell us more on MPro Bootcamp? There's a link that I believe Kevin should be posting. That will be the, I mean, you can just go in there and check it out. I mean, it's just, I teach, Frank teaches, Jack teaches. Thank you for liking my voice, John. But the boot camp is basically just like a trial, and it shows how we utilize what we have learned to trade with. It's kind of like a virtual trading room. not a virtual trade. It's like a virtual floor. A lot of these guys have been on the floor for years and years and years, and it's an accumulation of a lot of data. It's not meant. It's a means of enhancing somebody's way of trading. Price should stop in the golden ratio zone, but do you mean the price close or the wick also is valid? If you have a stop in the golden ratio zone and price goes up and takes it, then it doesn't matter if it's a wick or a candle. But if I were looking for a close above the golden ratio zone, the wick would not be the close, right? The wick would be a pierce. So it'd be the body of the candle that I would want to see close at a level. I went through the boot camp, best thing ever did. Now in the room permanently. Yes, you are. Thank you, Anne. What is the MIM? It's market on imbalance. It means that there's an indicator, but it's also data from people on the floor and from the boards of how much is being bought and how much is being sold, and it's based on the New York Stock Exchange stocks. And when there's like an imbalance of $1 billion, let me tell you something. If it's an imbalance to sell of $1 billion or close to it, when I'm short, I feel really good about my short. The website does not show how much the cost for the trial. I think it's either free or it's $7. Is that net long or net short? Oh gosh, Veronica, I'm sorry. Oh, the imbalance would be net. $19 for the trial, but you get a $12 discount, so it's $7. Thank you, Thomas. They'll reimburse you, I think. If not, let me know, because you'll be in there and I'll be in there. Just let me know, and I'll make sure you get it. Website does not show. I think it's $7. Raju. I see butterfly on SPY monthly chart. Can you verify that, please? Okay, I think I'm out of time. Kevin?
Yeah, we're about to wrap up. It's up to you though, Kathy, if you want to do that one more.
Okay, let me do it real quick. SPY, and we'll do it monthly. And what was it? Angel, I use some harmonic patterns, but I learned a new way. Oh, thank you. Thank you. SPY monthly butterfly. Okay. Ooh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's a perfect butterfly, isn't it? And I'll tell you why, because it's 78.6 and 1.272. Let me just erase all the fibs except for the ones that count, and you can see the triangle is perfect. So that, and here's where another thing of, now this is a monthly chart, so, but we have the bullish cross. Look how far price is from rising moving averages. When price is that far from moving average, that implies price is going to stall or pull back. Price and faster moving averages do not like to be far apart for very long. So this is an area to be cautious about longs and possibly protect any profits that you have. Okay. All right, that's it for me. Thank you so much, and thank you for the questions. That was really a lot of fun. And thank you, Kevin and Mark. I really always love being with you guys. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Kathy. So yeah, guys, if you want to check out Kathy and and we want to also give a shout out to Mr. Topstep. If you would like to check out that offer, you can go over to realtraderswebinar.com/Kathy.